really, really nice.
Here we are.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order of the Initiative and Referendum Subcommittee of the Charter Review Commission for 2021, and it is 7:02. Wow. And so our first thing is to read the minutes or to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. If anybody has any
Do
additions.
you want to do a roll call, or is it, we're a small group? But
oh my gosh, you're right. There, all of us are here.
yes, all four of us.
Yes. All four of us. We've got Liz Lafferty, Anne Marie Shanks, and we have Dave Anderson, our
Yes.
wonderful male.
Come on down, Dave.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. Okay, then we'll go to the minutes and get that over with. Do I hear an approval or not? A motion to approve?
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Yeah,
Aye.
aye, okay. Okay, and so we'll take up our discussions of our previous things. By the way, I was asked, and not that I didn't expect it, for us to be the one presenting at the next meeting, because I know Maureen sort of said, I can't do this another time, you have to give me a week. So I think we're okay to present, and I spent some time putting our issues and stuff on an Excel spreadsheet that I could screen share, and you guys could maybe look at and see if they were all there. But we do, with the caveat that what I put in findings, we're going to change today. It's just there and we can change them. And I have to admit that working with an Excel spreadsheet, I nearly tore out my hair because it doesn't allow you to, put paragraphs in things. So I had to make separate lines, and it's yucky. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and screen share this thing, and then we'll stop screen sharing it and talk about stuff. And maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. Let's see, screen share.
And Patty, at some point, can we talk about the information we got from Brandy about paid signatures? I wasn't sure I understood what was being said, so I just kind of wanted to go over that.
Of course, we will get
Thank you.
there and we will discuss it all.
Thank you.
Okay, so of course.
Oh, wow,
You
that
guys
looks
see
really
this?
good.
I don't know whether it's visible to you, Liz, or not,
Yep.
because
It is. It looks great.
Yeah.
however, all of this finding stuff, I just took it from what I had written, and we may want to change that. But the first thing is,
Well, it's
about
based
the
on
lower-
fact, right? All of our findings are based on fact.
Of course, and we did.
So I'm good,
And Patty,
we
is this
tweaked
some
it a
of what,
little bit.
Patty, is this some of the findings Dave had, or Dave, is there
Yeah.
something missing from there? It looks very familiar, and I'm a thumbs up as well, as long as Dave says.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it looks great. Patty had a question for me about finding. I'm trying to find it here.
About the other things that are in the way from, and I kept it out of here because I didn't get an answer back. I can put it in easily.
Okay.
Was that one that dealt with something about 2%?
No.
Well,
Okay,
it's
sorry.
the 2% thingy is in here, sort of, in that it's. Dave and I had this sort of conversation about how much they recommend at least 20% more signatures than the minimum threshold. And so he did the math and I did the math, and it's actually, if you're at 15%, you really need 18%. And if you're at 10%, you need 12. And if you're at 8%, you need 9.6. And Snohomish would be 8.4, even though they only require 7. That's to assure that you get enough signatures so that it will actually, enough of them will be valid. Yeah.
Do you want to put some disclaimer, just a short line about that reference? So it at 15%, it has a.
Well, it says.
She does that in
where
paragraph 2, right? In paragraph 2.
Some signatures held to be
It just says it
valid
would
additional-
really be.
Let's see, per the
Oh, got it.
Washington,
There it is. It's up there. All right.
up in here. They
Okay.
recommend obtaining at least 20% more. And so then in the next paragraph, that's what that would really be.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So
I-
at 20% more, that sentence might start at 20% more. That would mean 15% is really 18%.
18. Yeah. I did some homework. I promised I would, and tried to find out if the other home rule counties had any trouble, doing initiatives with their smaller percentages. And lo and behold, just like Snohomish, nobody did initiatives in the last 10 years. I mean, San Juan County's done probably the most. And I know I didn't get back to Camelin about the questions we had about her thing, but it does show that there were 1 or 2 initiatives that we had even at the higher, yeah. One of the things I saw was that there were a lot of state initiatives and all the ballots. Of course, all the counties had to include the state initiatives on them, but the only county things were amendments to the charter in response to charter reviews. And occasionally a council was trying to amend the charter and they would put that in there. But I was really kind of surprised. So I think I have some data here. I know that Whatcom went down. They were 15 and they went down to whatever they are now.
8,
About
it says here requires
40.
8%.
8, yeah. And they had a thing on the, let's see, on the ballot, they did have one sort of question on the ballot that it was 20% for, oh gosh, what were they? It wasn't initiatives and referendums, but it was a 20% thing that they reduced to 15. Did you see that, Dave?
There was something 30, wasn't there, Column County had 35% signatures to repeal the charter, the entire charter.
Okay.
And they lowered
Yeah,
it to 20, they lowered it to 20%.
Yeah, so there are
And
some
that's
things
the
that I-
group, that's the group that created a planning director as an elected official. And then after they got a more Trumpian person, they repealed that, right?
Right. I don't know. Is
Yeah, I
that what
think-
it is? Is that the politics
I
there?
think that was part of the politics there, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was an
Yeah, it's
interesting
all
idea.
politics.
Well, it is an interesting idea.
Could be interesting to have here. I think would be.
Oh, God.
You think so?
What idea are we talking about?
No,
Oh,
never mind. Stop recording.
right. Oh.
Well, I think that looks great. I like number 1. You guys have done excellent work.
Yeah. Looks
I
great.
think we're ready to bring that to the commission for a vote. We have to vote it out of here
Well-
though, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, we will just bring it to the commission. And one of the questions that we had, I know Liz brought this up, was did we want to lower it to 8% or did we just want to lower it to 10%? And that's still up for grabs. I don't know. It's up to us.
I think we should go in for 8, and if they give us a lot of grief, feel them out on 10.
Okay,
No, you know what I mean? Have
good.
10 be our fallback,
I like that. Yeah, okay.
I'm just an idea.
No, I like that. I like that.
No,
we
no,
were-
that's good. I like that.
That was
No,
my
'cause we
starting
could-
point as
one
well.
of us could make the motion, you know
We're
what I
doing-
mean? And one of us could second it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
the
don't
one thought,
excuse me, Dave.
I'm sorry, just one thought or amendment maybe, or not amendment, just, it says, you say they recommend obtaining at least 20% more signatures than the minimum threshold. It's the
Mhm.
Secretary of State.
Yeah,
So
Yes.
is it,
And
let's
does
that,
put that in.
oh, so, well, you say they because it's gender neutral.
Oh, but the Secretary of
And
State would
you
be
can't-
too. The Secretary of
Yeah,
State
oh,
recommends.
but the Secretary of State is in the sentence before that. I mean, do we
Oh,
really want to
okay.
have it again?
Oh, okay, I got you.
oh yeah,
So
okay.
they
I
is
see, I
Secretary
see
of
what you're
State.
doing.
Oh, okay, now, I'm sorry.
I got
Never
it,
mind.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and
These all need to catch up with you, Patty.
It's on top of
well,
it.
Yeah, it looks really
I'm
good.
not
So
just a read. It,
I'll,
you know,
I'll
it's,
make a motion that
Oh.
we approve this to send it up to the full committee.
I'm on.
You're saying I'll third it.
so that's approved then. Okay, send to committee the first one.
And as Sharon Abreu would say, we have a super majority.
Yeah. Sounds so powerful.
Yeah.
Oh my, yes. Okay, so the next one is the financial limitation clause, which I have not done anything fully with. Yes, Liz?
Okay, just before we go on, if any of you in the future ever discovers why it is that other counties don't use their initiative and why we do, is it that the populace is out of sync with county government, or is it we just have a more active populace? Anyway, if you ever find out in the future, ring me up and say, guess what, Liz? 'Cause,
It's
I
a
mean,
good-
it's intriguing to me. Why is that?
Does Pierce County or King County do it? Do you know? Use it?
I looked, I didn't see any county initiatives, but I got tired of looking through King's and then I stopped doing it. When I came back, I gave up King and I went on to Pierce, and Pierce didn't in the last 10 years. No.
Well, I don't want to
So, I
derail
mean,
us.
like I
It's
say,
just
there-
a little placeholder. So
I don't know that. The thing was, there were a lot of initiatives on the ballot. They were state initiatives. The ballots were full of stuff, you know, in all the counties, but they were taken up by state initiatives or charter review. So it was kind of interesting. The way I ended up doing it was to go to their county websites and look at the ballot. And if I was confused about something, then I would look at the manual or the voter's pamphlet that comes out, because all of them have voter's pamphlets. And yeah, it was really quite interesting. So we're not the only county that's been putting stuff on the internet. Just depends on what all we have put there. But that is a good question. I wondered it myself. So do we want to go on to the second issue,
yes.
which I think is the financial, and I'm not really sure what to propose because Washington State requires that a fiscal impact statement at least be prepared. And so, you know, if we just, to me, it's like, okay, we need to prepare a fiscal impact statement, but that doesn't mean we need to say how we're going to fund it. But the charter at this point says we need to say that also. So what do you guys want to say? Do we want to change that or ask them to change it or?
So what you're saying is we've added this additional language to our charter that is requiring our people to say not just that it has a fiscal impact, but how we're going to fund it. And
That's
I don't
correct.
think we should be requiring people to do that, but I'm not
Well,
sure how
and
to do it otherwise.
As we found out that King is the only county that doesn't have that language in theirs. And because we figured it was because King had more money, probably to fool around with, but the other ones kind of, well, you need to figure out how you're going to pay for this if you're going to ask us to spend more money. I know that I don't know whether that's something we should propose to get rid of or not. I'm the full commission will probably say, well, nah, you have to. Yes, Liz.
just thinking out loud here for a minute, if we may, that it doesn't make sense to me to ask someone who's proposing an initiative to be responsible for a budget that there's so many intricacies of the budget that they're not going to know anything about. So, I could make up a budget and say, well, just, pull, $100,000 out of the road department and I've got my money. But that doesn't, that's a ridiculous analogy, but you get my point. And what do you all thought?
Because it seems like at this point, all the initiative people can do, if it's going to cost some money, is to say, well, then we need the council or somebody to add another tax or to change their budget or whatever, or else make an initiative that won't cost a thing. So, I hear you, Liz.
So I did some writing about this. I feel bad that I didn't do enough. I was hoping to have better findings, but the more I think about it, the only kind of initiative voters can put forward or petitioners can put forward is one that raises taxes. Because
unless it doesn't have any fiscal impact at all, which is a little crazy, but somebody to do their job a little differently or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and somebody can, you're going to have somebody in the state or a government agency say what they think it's going to cost. So even if you're asking them to do business differently, they can come back and say, well, it's going to cost the prosecutor's office so much more money.
Right. And that would be a fiscal impact.
And I don't know how. To me, it almost seems like what Liz is saying is like right on, because it's like, okay, well,
right.
If it costs the prosecutor's office $30,000 to do this, do we still want to do it? Yeah.
I do have a question then. I think the REACH was an initiative. Is that right? When they did that, or that was some kind of a, let's see, I've got to find
the one for housing?
Yeah, real estate tax for housing.
Yeah. Right. It went through the county, and the county government wanted the voters, they passed it, but they wanted the voters they wanted it to go as an initiative to the voters so that they weren't,
okay.
as I understood
but
it, making the decision themselves.
I think that's considered a referendum.
It started as a council ordinance, right? And then it went to the voters. Okay, but which makes sense because I think the council is the only thing that can propose taxes of any sort.
And it talked about how much was going to be in it.
Dave, did you finish what you were saying about the writing you did?
I can read it, some of it to you, or I can post some of it. It's kind of not very
what I'm wondering is if we have adequate findings to be able to put this out to the full commission. And
yes, please.
Okay.
And we have a couple of days too, David, because you could send it to me and I could plug it in there. So go ahead and read it, please.
Okay. Let's see what. One second.
Or do you want to share a screen or something? I can get out of it.
Yeah, I could try that even. I've never done that actually, to be honest. So
neither have I.
Okay.
I bet Liz hasn't either.
I did, but I screwed it up. So.
Oh, that's right. You did it in climate and environment.
Yeah.
Dave, I think if you just go down where it says share screen and click on that.
Okay.
And then it says share either to your computer or the cloud or something like that. No, it just says share, right? I forget now.
Just share screen.
Yeah. Let me get up what I need to get up first and then.
Right. Because then it'll show you all of them and you have to figure out which one it is that you're going to share.
Yeah.
I know what I did. I shared my screen fine, but I went to enlarge it and all of a sudden it just went haywire.
There you go.
Is that it?
All right. I got it. Okay.
Okay. Oh, this is an email. Okay. Let me see if I can get this better real quick. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Take your time.
Okay, let's just do this.
We all like learning curves, so you're good.
Okay, can you see this, what I have right now?
Yeah?
yet.
Oh, no, I can't.
Not yet,
No,
it's not shared yet.
not yet. No,
Okay,
I saw something else.
okay, here we go. I think we're gonna get it here. Share screen, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, you see that?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Look at that, now you're an old hand at it.
Oh, I know. Okay,
Okay.
so, yeah, I was just been, some brutal typos here. So it's, to me, the more I think about this, this becomes more and more, an injustice, anti-democratic.
Mhm.
It's really unfair, and even for us as a commission that is possibly proposing changes to revenue, but we're not sourcing it. But we're
Right.
expecting the voters to do this, but we're not doing it ourselves. And
Exactly.
so, so and county council always makes many decisions that are that regard the budget and revenue, but they don't specifically think about where the pennies of taxation come from. And so I think it's pretty unfair. And so it makes it, so it's making the right to initiative a false right. It's not a right that we have, really. It's just, it's teasing us. It's a tease that we
Right.
have the right to do this, this kind of self governance. It is a double issue in this. It's in the sense, the first limitation on the right of initiative is you can only have one issue on the ballot. You can't have two issues. But the second is this financial limitation. But in order to do this in order to put an issue on the ballot, you also have to another issue, which is the you can have a policy, but then you also have to add a taxation one. That's two issues.
Yep.
So it's kind of putting two issues on the ballot.
Catch 22.
Yeah, it's a catch 22. Ooh, good one. Good one. Catch 22. And it limits the petitioners what they can realistically propose. Unless the policy sought by initiative campaigns is to raise taxes, issues for the ballot can easily be deemed invalid, making it more likely initiatives end up in court instead of on the ballot where signing voters intended it to be. Most policy issues have a fiscal impact, no matter how small it is.
Yeah.
Easy.
Got it.
Yeah.
We can figure it out.
Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's okay.
This fundamental right is established by votes through a simple lawsuit. Can be undermined by a simple lawsuit. It's hypocritical for. Then it's another one. It's hypocritical for the commission to continue to deprive voters of this right on policy, regardless of financing, when the commission itself is putting issues to voters that would require unstipulated revenues.
Yep. Don't worry about the typos.
Yeah. Essentially, any kind of initiative with this criteria are one that either raise taxes or cut services. And then I had the proposal that we create, instead of just require a financial ballot statement, what if we create a process to create a ballot statement, a financial statement on the ballot, like put it to the prosecuting attorney or the treasurer's office. I was reading about initiatives. Most initiatives deal with elections. And so the auditor's office would not be a place to have financial statements come from, but maybe possibly the or an independent CPA in the community, or I'm not really sure how we could get a neutral statement, but that was just a thought.
Oh, to have a neutral statement on the financial costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if a department wants something, like this is what we used to say in state and federal government, if they want something, then not a problem. You get a really good review. If they don't want it, oh my God, we're going to have earthquakes. Nobody's going to work. It's just everything disaster.
Right.
That was my thought of it. It is too easy to game the system by having to get that statement. So do we need to put a process in there, or is it enough to say that's
How about it
not-
just needs a neutral party?
Yeah. Or do we even need that? What I'm wondering is, it's not the responsibility of the community to figure out the funding. It's the responsibility of the community to put forward an initiative that's, there are enough voters in favor of it. And then it's up to the county council, auditor, city manager, all of that.
Well, it might be a good question for Camlin or Mylene. Where does this statement come from? Is it-
I think the key that Liz just had was that the initiative, the responsibility of the community is the initiative. And it's the responsibility of whoever makes the money to come up with the money for it if the community wants it. In other words, let's take that away. Take that financial requirement away. If the community wants something, and we can state what the fiscal impact is, but we don't have to say how. The community doesn't have to say how. So I don't know. And then when they do things on the ballot, they always have a statement for and a statement against anyway.
Right.
So yeah, it ends up being somewhat neutral.
So currently, there's no requirement for the fiscal accounting in an initiative, correct?
There is an R charter.
Yeah, currently you have to come up with the money, basically. If you have something that's going to cost money, you have to say where.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So yeah, so I was looking at the Camelin's little list of all the other ones, and I'm trying to figure. The only initiative that was passed here really was the immigration initiative, which didn't cost any money.
But they could have made it cost money. If they wanted to, they could have made it sound like it costs money.
Right.
Yeah, but
And that's that gaming the system
Yeah.
thing, that if you don't get it to the voters before you consider the finances, then the voters really aren't having a say. It's going through the,
And that one, actually, the county council adopted it.
the
So
county
it
council
did-
adopted it.
So it didn't, we got the signatures and everything. It never had to go on the ballot.
right,
But you were able to get an initiative to get signatures for
Right,
because it didn't have a financial clause
Right.
in there.
right.
Yeah,
Anne Marie, you and I are saying the same thing, right? That
Yes.
if, yeah,
Yeah, we
gaming the
are.
system, they don't want it, okay.
Right.
Yeah,
We're on
so
the
it's
same
like-
page.
Getting the findings strong enough to say, our recommendation is that be taken out.
Right, that we just go with the state language.
right. Yeah, so Dave, would you send me an email with this language in it? And I'm going to fool around with it and stick it on that form and then run it by you guys to see if you agree with.
And we're trying to have that prepared for Wednesday.
Yeah, for Wednesday.
Wednesday
yeah.
after, yeah. I don't think there's any, there's no other speakers, so it's just gonna be this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And so
Well-
maybe it won't take us 2.5 hours. Maybe it'll just take us 2.
I mean, do
They
we
always come up with
need
questions.
some sort of vote, or can we just do it via
Um,
email? Procedure wise here, is there any criteria we have to follow, or can we do it via emails?
I think emails, since there's only 4 of us, that emails would, if we got emails from
Right.
everybody, that would be a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I could make a motion that says, I motion that the language of findings that you all come up with is good enough. It's good
Okay.
for me.
Yeah, all right, let's have that sort of thing there. We will work on it and come up with something for you guys to see.
Because I think part of it is seeing what pushback we get from the full commission. Are we totally not reading them right?
Right, we wanna get our game in order.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And you never know.
right. Exactly.
Yeah. It seems common sense, but it's not, but there are people who are fairly anti-initiative, I think.
Right.
Not only anti-initiative, but also anti-costing the county any money. I mean, they would want it to stay in there just because, oh, we can't do that. So we'll see. But it's true that this list that Camelin had, the only real initiative, which ended up going to the council and being passed by them, didn't cost any money, at least in the way it was presented.
Mhm.
Everything else, there was referendums, there were propositions, which are levies. And yeah,
There really wasn't much.
nah,
Dave, again, thank you for your
Yeah,
writing. on
thanks,
this.
Dave. That's
Always
good.
so good to have a starting point.
that's for sure. Thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't. I apologize for not really doing my homework and getting with everybody before I pulled this thing together.
No, it looks good. It
I
looks
think we're
good.
doing good. I think we're
Yeah,
doing
that's great.
good. So
We'll see. Okay, Dave, you can take that off your share screen.
Okay. Here we go.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
Learn something every
And I
day.
think I'm gonna share the other thing again.
Okay.
And
Good.
so let's,
It's prettier to look at.
yeah.
okay, let's see. Got to get there. And now,
Wait.
what am I trying to share?
What are you
In
gonna
your-
say, Dave?
In your findings, can you make sure to include, I'm not sure if you said this already, maybe even the language that the Secretary of State or the state law requires that financial statements are on the ballot, that those disclosure, so people know that there
Yeah.
is a.
That's on there. I'm trying to figure out how to share this thing again. It's not letting me do it. How do I find, no, it's not a Word document. Come on. Oh, it won't let me find my file. So I have to get the document back up there. Sorry about that.
What a meanie.
What did I do with it? I don't know.
I don't know
There.
how to get documents up and have the Zoom going at the same time.
Okay, I think this
Just
is
keep
it.
thinking that it's so scary to know that our federal government is run by a bunch of old farts like us. I'll speak for myself.
I just am so glad that I'm retired now because, you know, when I worked at the U in over 44 years, things changed. Oh my gosh, they changed amazingly, but they change now overnight.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, suddenly they're using a whole new system and everybody has to get used to that system. Sure, they've had a couple of months to work with it, but my brain wouldn't do that.
Moore's law.
So it's really good. Oh
Yep.
my God. Okay, so we're gonna, this is not the one I wanted. This is the earlier one.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I
That's
have to
okay.
find the updated one. Let's see, file and open recent. There it is. And there's that. And sharing is pause. Okay, I'm going to stop share. And now I'm going to share again. Sorry, guys. There we go. Boy, by the time we're through with all of this, we'll even know how to work it. Is it there yet?
There you go. Okay.
All right, so we're going to work on this one. And we're going to, let's see, what are we going to propose?
On
That,
number 2.
Yeah, because the proposal, this is what it really is right now.
Mhm.
And then our proposal is that
We're going to
strike-
take out that additional language.
Wasn't there something about we align with the state on not requiring or?
this is over here. So we would strike the language and to be in line with the state requirement.
There we go.
And
Right.
The language is this, unless provisions are specifically made therein for new or additional sources of revenue. We'll take that out. That's what we will.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now the banning the paid signature thing.
And then we can use some of Dave's stuff as our findings, right?
Definitely, I'm plugging that in here, but
Yeah. Okay.
I can't do it right now.
No, I got you.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
section
send it to-
620, section 621, number 2. Which one? that.
Okay. section 621. Number, no, that's not it. Yeah, I guess that is number 2. I can't
Fine.
see very well.
They paid Pam, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, but why did I? Oh, well, doesn't matter. I've got that anyway. So the next thing was we want to ban paid signatures. And I kind of like that last part down here.
But didn't we get word back from Randy that it was illegal to do that? We didn't have the,
We know it's illegal. In fact, Washington State banned paid signature gathering in 1914, and this was overturned by a Supreme Court decision involving Colorado in 1988. I should put that what that is. It was all the way through until 1988. We had that ban, and then the Supreme Court, with another one of these First Amendment rights, said that no, you can't do that. So this is just sort of saying what happens with paid signature gathering. And a lot of states have tried to ban the actual payment per signature and put in an hourly rate that you could pay, and you could hire people by the hour to go ahead and get signatures, but that hasn't passed. That hasn't passed.
It hasn't passed.
That's found that it was
Oh, it's
unconstitutional because I don't know where they get the First Amendment right in there, but it's unconstitutional. So then the last thing that I had, which I took away from here, was that it's still, people are still trying to do it. In California, there's one right now where there's something going through their legislature that would ban paid signature gathering by the signature. It probably won't pass muster in the courts. So I'm just saying, you know, what we were thinking about last time, somebody was saying, let's require a business license for anybody out there getting paid signatures. Maybe that's something reasonable. I don't know.
Dave, didn't you have an idea that the person had to live local?
Be
Did
a
I make
qualified
that up?
voter? Be a
Yeah.
registered voter in the county?
Uh-huh,
I didn't, but that's a great idea.
okay. I'll give you credit for it.
Oh, no, that's all you.
That sounds good.
What about making them pay prevailing wage or
See? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
or you know,
right.
I
An
don't know
hour-
what the minimum wage in our county is, but something like that.
Healthcare.
$15 an
Yeah.
hour, benefits,
$15 an hour. Yeah, not benefits. I know that one.
housing and benefits.
There we go, yeah.
Proof of housing and benefits.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how I
There's gonna
can.
be a lot of initiatives going on.
Okay.
401k.
What were these things? Let's see. Resident. Some ways, just to make things a little more difficult, to pay somebody to get signatures in our county.
Well, and
I
when we
don't know.
first started talking about this, we were concerned about undue outside influence on different, you know, topics that, you know, the county residents themselves may be opposed to. But
The other thing was because there's wealth in the islands. Some people
Right.
who are residents here might have something that is not all that popular, but you know, let's push it through and see if we can get it on the ballot. And then there might be enough. You know, that's what we were also trying to
right,
take the wealth factor out of it. As this says, you know, a campaign that has adequate funds to pay circulators
Right.
has nearly 100% chance of qualifying in many states. But yeah,
$3 a signature, 10 grand. It's on the ballot. Right? I think that's
yeah, exactly. Although they might be more than that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, you know, whether What did Randy say? Does anybody have that up anywhere? I get lost in my emails and I'm still deleting ones I don't want to.
I don't have it up right now.
Yeah.
And I
don't
think he
either.
just said it was illegal, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that we
couldn't
can't do
do
that. And that is something that we're aware of. But I guess when you keep putting it out there, you know, it's a consciousness raising kind of thing. Yeah, it's illegal because somebody made it illegal. In this case, the courts made it illegal. Liz.
I just want to put out there, which is I'm doing consistently at all levels of our committees and subcommittees, is to ask Randy how, not if, but how. Because personally, I end up sitting on these meetings feeling like I am living in a government of Randy, by Randy, and for Randy. And I'm not comfortable with that at all. So we keep asking him, how do we do this? Because it's not up to him if we do it. He gives us counsel on how we can do it.
And that is
What you're saying is that we say, yes, we hear what our council is telling us, but what we want to know is how can we stop paid signature gathering in our county?
Yes.
how can we do
Exactly.
this?
Thank
Come
you.
up with ways of doing it. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Because we don't want to go to court.
And one of the things that has been in my reading, I don't know whether it's from them or who, but the prosecuting attorney does have to put forward whatever we want or whatever the initiative.
Right,
people want
he
to
sent
do.
us an email
Yeah,
that they will represent us even if they feel like what we're proposing is not legal.
it's not good. Exactly.
They
Yeah.
will or they will not?
They
They
will.
Okay.
That was like a Saturday
Yeah.
email that came out, you know,
Woo, Dave's
like-
on the loose.
and it was like, oh, wow,
There
okay,
you go.
so this is good. You are going to represent us.
Yes. Okay. So, well, I think then what we want to do here is
Patty,
find out how. Yeah.
Patty, I have the letter here.
Okay.
from Vera. If that'd be helpful.
That's probably it. I know I've read it. So you want to read it?
Yeah, or I can share it, or I can read it.
He just wants to share his screen again.
Yeah.
Let's get practice.
My little toy. Let's see. Okay, I'll just read it then.
Yeah.
Dear Commissioners, a question has been raised with our office regarding the legality of prohibiting paid signature gathering. This is a good question. Below is a summary of the law in Washington on this issue. RCW 29A 84 makes it a gross misdemeanor to provide or receive consideration payment for soliciting or procuring signatures on any initiative or referendum petition if any part of the consideration is based on the number of signatures solicited or procured. In 1994, the language of this RCW, formerly codified as 29.79.490, was challenged in federal court in Limit versus Mailing. The court compared the facts of this case to other federal cases challenging bans on payment for signature gathering, both per signature and general payment, and ruled that the statute is invalid because it unconscionably infringes on the freedom of political speech guaranteed by the First Amendment. I'm happy to answer any additional questions you may have on this topic.
And that is the same kind of thing they came up with in 1988 in the Colorado case. It's a freedom of speech sort of thing. And I just don't see how paid freedom is freedom. Oh, well, you know, I'm not a court.
Well,
So-
that is crazy, because what you were reading to me, Dave, it sounded to me like it was illegal to pay, and that's just me misunderstanding.
Well, yeah, that was the statute that they then overturned. The statute said it was illegal, and then it
So
was
you can't
overturned.
pay somebody to get 10,000 signatures, but you can pay them $1 or $3 for every signature they get?
No, you just,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
pay per signature,
Ah.
period. And it said you said you can't,
Overturned.
but that was overturned. So they
You
had a statute like that, but it was overturned by the courts. So that's what Amy's saying, you know, if we do something like that, it'll be overturned because it was before.
We could suggest a tax on signatures, or we could suggest
Well, that's just it. I mean, the question now is find out how. What can we do? Bring it to the full commission and see if they're in favor of us pursuing this or the commission pursuing it. How about an ordinance requiring a business license, or they need to pay a minimum wage to whoever they pay to gather signatures? You know, how do they figure that out? I don't know if they're doing it by the signature. And the resident requirement. In other words, as you were saying, ask our legal people to see if there's a way that we can
Right.
get around this.
And I really want to be mindful of language, not if, not, but how.
Yeah,
Like, not even if there's a way, but just
find out
how.
how. Right.
That to keep it really, really clean of, this is what we want to do, how, what is your recommendation on how we can do this?
Yes.
we need a different word than ban. If we're going to do this, we need a different word than ban, because we don't want to ban signature gathering, paid signature gathering. Maybe we have to regulate paid signature gathering.
Okay.
Is an idea that
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good.
not ban it outright, but regulate it.
Regular, there you go.
Okay,
I like that.
that. Okay. Regulate. Okay.
As in, you have to have lived here for 35 years and you have to know 20% of the population, and you have to be willing to commit 12 hours a day to do it.
Voted in 5 consecutive elections.
There you go.
4
Yeah,
out of 4s.
Well, I think, I think we've got enough to go ahead and present I'm going to go ahead and hone this and send it around to everybody and see if you guys approve, or if you have comments, you want to change stuff, and then we'll go ahead and present it in the big committee. The last one, the possible electronic signatures, we're not carrying that forward. Because we don't have, I know this is a 10-year process, and maybe we'll have something within the 10 years, but it's harder for initiatives and referendums than it is for balloting, because there are different rules, and I don't think the Secretary of State's going to come up with something for initiatives that'll be electronic signatures. I mean, maybe they will, but at
Right.
that point, then maybe we can deal with it.
Patty, I was on a demo call today
Yeah.
with a hologram of an avatar of a person in a different country
Oh my goodness.
walking around with the speaker who is presenting. Very,
Trippy.
very mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's all going to be, and it's going to get there quickly. I know.
It's like already there. That's the, yeah. So I'm watching this hologram of this person from, I've forgotten what country they were in.
Doesn't matter.
Standing on stage talking with the presenter of Mattel Toys, talking about holograms in children's toys.
Wow.
Sort of reminds me of Disneyland when they came up with those, talking Abe Lincolns, which was, state of the art back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Patty, so electronic signatures, are you going to mention that we did talk about it? We did.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm going to mention it because if the full commission still wants to take that up, they're perfectly welcome to. We didn't pursue it. And probably because I didn't think we had enough to pursue right now. But if the commission wants to say, well, hey, 10 years from now, this may be an issue. So maybe we should put language in there allowing for that to happen.
but I think it might also be good to point out that you talked to people in Olympia about it, and we talked with our local elections people, you know what I mean? And it just didn't seem like it was really something with that was in the 10-year scope for our county or our state.
And one of the requirements that Camelin just sort of said, hey, they say it has to be on good quality paper.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that has to change.
Wet signature. I did also talk to a specialist who is a specialist in this field who is saying it's a long ways away, and
Yeah.
we could do
So
it.
I think it's good to show them how much research was done.
It's kind of
Okay.
I know, because we're rocking it, so let's.
We could actually get 3
Yeah.
amendments, proposals on the ballot.
Maybe.
It's all
Yeah.
at once too.
It might be the only thing on the ballot.
Yeah.
Oh boy, looking at those other counties and what they're sort of gave me some ideas on their charter review commissions. They had, I forget which one I was looking at, but they were all kinds of charter review amendments. And I thought, oh, I'm glad we're not really talking about that right now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a Pandora's box, and you kind of have to zone in on certain things. And 10 years ago, they zoned in on a 3-member commission, and that was mainly it. And they had issues like, do we want this to be nonpartisan or partisan? I'm glad it's nonpartisan, but there were a lot of issues, but not like we're talking about now. Oh my gosh.
Patty, do you want to make a motion to end the meeting and then we can chat a moment? Was there any other
Yeah,
business?
we don't have any public comment, I don't think, but I will call for public comment. Anybody on the phone or trying to get in here? No. Okay. Then I will hear a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Moved. Second.
All in favor.
Okay. At 7:53. Oh my gosh.
Early.
Stop that recording.
You guys got out early last week too, didn't you? Or you're like 3 minutes after 8, I saw.
Stop recording.